Welcome everybody, my name is Chris Negretti here with Rumble Pack Gaming, bringing you our first top 5 for Shocktober for you. Make sure you keep it here all month with us. We're going to be doing some different things for you. What I'm bringing you today is my top 5 list of my favorite survival horror games. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. Number 5. Deadly Premonition for the Xbox 360. Now, before you make your judgments and assumptions about this game, I know it plays like a PS2 game, it looks like a PS2 game. I don't think you can truly understand the nature of this game unless you've played it. Gameplay can be somewhat terrible, the graphics can be somewhat terrible, but to be honest with you, the story, once you get into it, is not that bad at all. The story, they actually pretty well written. If there's one thing this game did right, it's the monsters, guys. Combat can be terrible, the melee and the guns, like I said, you just need to play it to be able to understand it. It's really the subtleties as well within this game. You know, there's some pop culture references here and there, but one of the things that really got me is wandering around the town of Greenvale. You're gonna find different things in every corner of the city that really can just kind of get to you there. But the monsters, there's some kind of shadowy figures. They can just teleport right in front of you without you even knowing. I mean, you know, you play Francis York Morgan, the FBI agent sent to this town. Yeah, you have a pistol and all that, but really, the monsters in this game will just straight freak you out. Once you get to the climax of the game, where you are up to the red raincoat killer, it's actually pretty good. Like they delve into the story very, very well, and they reveal a little bit more about the characters' backgrounds, a little bit more to get you more intrigued into the game and kind of give you a sense of what this game is about. Like this game is a little bit more about what's under the surface as opposed to what you actually see and play. So just give it a chance, just give it a playthrough. Honestly, if you play through it once, you might be like me. I fell in love with this game. I played it so much, could not put it down. Don't judge it by what you first see. You'll love it just like I did. There's some things that you might not be able to stand, but underneath it all, I think it all kind of culminates together to create a really great game. Alright, so number 4 on my list is going to be Metro 2033 for the Xbox 360, recently remastered for the Xbox One. I honestly feel this game was underrated whenever it came out. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people that have played it. Kind of like Deadly Premonition, like no one really gave it the time of day. I don't know what drew me to this game, but when I played it, oh, I loved it. Basically, you're in a post-apocalyptic Moscow. You have to deal with radiation, all these new creatures that radiation has created. And along the way, you cannot go outside without having, like, your gas mask on or your radiation mask on, because radiation is the key killer in this game. You know, the monsters, there's plenty of monsters in this game. They evolve as the game goes on. But to be honest with you, one of the things that killed me the most was radiation, because not only, you have a gas mask on, but it has a timer. Once you run out of time, or once you run out of, clean oxygen to breathe in your gas mask, radiation eventually gets you and kills you. And then along the way, you're gonna find fallen rangers and fallen soldiers. You have to scavenge every single body you can for every piece of ammo and equipment that you can find. They'll have, refueling tanks for your gas mask, extra ammo clips or grenades, but everything is not handed to you in any way possible. You have to scavenge every corner of every area that you find in this game just for supplies or for ammo. And this game just absolutely just drags you through it as you're fighting all these monsters. I mean, normally you do have a buddy with you, but as tradition with survival horror, you get separated and have to find things on your own. But these monsters get bigger and badder, and by the end of the game, you find yourself scrounging for ammo or scrounging for an extra, refueling tank for your gas mask. But anytime you're outside, not only do you have to worry about these monsters, but I cannot stress this enough. This radiation in this air, it will fucking kill you. This game kept me on the edge of my seat. The story was really well written. The monsters are something things I've never seen before. Overall, gameplay mechanics, the story, characters, like the way it kind of introduces you to everything in this post-apocalyptic Moscow, done really well. And again, not everything is handed to you on a platter. You have to scrounge, and you really have to put good tactical use to the maps and areas in this game. Number 3 is going to be Condemned Criminal Origins, again for the Xbox 360. This was a launch title for the 360, so you know, it's not exactly polished like, you know, games nowadays. The reason why this game sticks out to me so much, you're not fighting monsters, you're not fighting zombies, you're not fighting anything like that. You're basically just fighting mentally crazed drug addicts and squatters and things like that who they're just crazed out of their minds. They're going to pop out behind pillars, pop out behind walls, and attack the shit out of you. Most of it is melee combat, but not only that, every time you find a firearm in this game, you have like 9 bullets. Once you're done, you know, you're done. Not only that, eventually as the game evolves and as your character evolves, you're going to face more than just, you know, other drug addicts and humans. You know, it's psychological within the mind of the character. And then through it all, you're an FBI agent, so you have to conduct investigations of certain crime scenes as you chase a serial killer whose MO is to copy serial killers' MOs. I'm not sure if that makes sense as I'm saying it, but he basically kills serial killers in the way that they kill other people. So while you're tracking him down through all of this, you have all this other shit going on, these drug addicts coming after you, and you're dealing with all this, you know, trying not to go crazy yourself in the midst of the investigation. You see a bunch of shit, you start hallucinating, there's things that start popping out at you. As you try and figure all of this out, you just have to try and make sure that you keep your sanity while investigating everything thoroughly. Alright, up next at number 2 we have Dead Space 2. Now the reason why I chose Dead Space 2 over the first one, no, don't get me wrong, the first one was good. I feel like it made its mark and what it needed to do in this genre. But there's just so many different things about the second one. Right from the get-go, this game is just unforgiving, just relentless on any character that you come across within this game. Not only that, I mean, it just throws all these new enemies at you that you have to kind of play against their weakness. And speaking of which, all the new weapons in this game, each one kind of has its own advantage over different enemies. Whenever you complete the first Dead Space with one gun, that shit would not fly in Dead Space 2. I can guarantee you that. Each enemy has its own different weakness in terms of weapons. It's so crazy, like each playthrough I guarantee would not be the same. The different suits as well, the way you can upgrade your character and kind of play to different strengths in terms of enemies and weapons, that really adds a whole like different level of complexity. Another thing Dead Space 2 has going for it is pretty much Isaac's deterioration of his mental stability. You know, you kind of get to delve into a little bit more of his sickness as you return to the Ishimura. And not only that, as you play through the game, you know, he kind of struggles to determine what is reality and what is, you know, hallucination. At the same time, though, fighting a battle within his own mind, you know, struggle between reality and what is fantasy in his mind. And one of the main things that's going to bring Dead Space 2 near the top of my list, if you've played this game, you know near the end, the whole eye surgery scene, how nerve-wracking that was to get that needle in Isaac's eye when he won't just keep his damn eye still. Not only that, from that point until the end of the game, the regenerative enemy that refuses to leave you alone, you have to fight that, hack doors, and just make it to the end, all while trying to juggle these enemies at the same time. And it's just so brutal. It just throws so much at you. It just like does not give you a break whatsoever. Anything you encounter, anything you meet in this game can hurt you, and they're just so unforgiving in Dead Space 2. Finally, guys, we come to number 1, which is Resident Evil 4. If any of you have played this game, which I hope you have, you will know that this changed the survival horror game. From over-the-shoulder camera mechanics to the inventory system, I cannot tell you how many hours, yes, hours, not minutes, but hours. How many hours I've spent in-game reorganizing my inventory case. Weapons, ammo, grenades, health, combining different things. Even whenever you pick up treasure, you can combine treasure with other treasure to make it more valuable. It was incredible. The merchant system, the infamous what are you buying, what are you selling, Resident Evil 4 brought all that into the mix, and it was so incredible the way they delivered everything. Now, anybody knows you have to deal with one major problem in this game. That is this bitch, Ashley. Now, not only do you have to survive and protect yourself, you're gonna have to have someone else to protect. One hit, she's dead. So, you have to clear out areas, kill enemies, make sure they don't get to her, because once she dies, you fail every single mission. The enemies in this game, oh, they evolve so well. Does anybody remember the first time El Gigante popped out of that gate? Remember that first moment whenever they pulled him out of there? And then later on in the game, the Regenerators, Salazar, Sadler, Krauser, the knife fight really brought this climax to this game. That was one of the best moments in the game, was that knife fight. You can't just sit through cutscenes and just sit back and watch like a movie. No, this game is going to keep you on the edge of your seat, keep your hands on that controller, make sure you're dodging within the cutscenes, because if not, you're going to die and you're going to fail the mission. But everything that I'm talking about now, everything about Resident Evil 4, the reason why this game gives me chills every time can be summed up by this sound. Chainsaw. When I heard that chainsaw for the first time, I was like, holy shit. All the enemies in this game, honestly, I know they get bigger and badder. Nothing compares to that time. Every single time I hear that chainsaw, it still sends chills down my spine. The time that you fight the Chainsaw Sisters, I almost turned the game off. I was like, fuck this. I was done. But this game just keeps on giving tons and tons of replay value, because every time you beat the game on different difficulties, or you do different things, you get different costumes that do different things for you, or you get different weapons. If any of you played the PS2 version, the hand cannon, the laser gun, Chicago typewriter, infinite launcher, this game just throws so much at you in so many different ways to play it. It just keeps on giving and keeps on coming at you in different angles. You cannot play this game only once. It's just like a bag of Lay's potato chips. Bet you can't have just one. Bet you can't play it one time. Resident Evil 4 is a game that keeps on giving. It's always going to remain at the top of my list for the best survival horror game I've ever played. Leon is ultimate badassery in this game. Sorry, Resident Evil 6, you didn't do him justice. Resident Evil 4 is where he belongs, and I don't think that anyone will ever forget the mark that this game made. So, if you guys have any arguments or agreements for my list, please feel free to drop a comment to us. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that social media jazz. My name is Krishna Grady, once again, here with Rumble Pack Gaming. Hope you enjoyed this video. Keep it here all month for Shocktober. We're going to have more lists for you, more videos for you, so keep it with us, guys. Thanks.